Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the BytesBurn Podcast. And we are your hosts, Idris, Lawal, and Stacy, Onuorah. And as usual, we have interesting topics to bring to you today from around the world of tech. Today, we'll be kicking off with an interesting event that happened this past week, which is the Google I/O 2026. And Google I/O is a yearly event that Google hosts where they talk about the latest and greatest features or products that they are working on. And they use this to showcase all of that to all of us, their potential customers. And this year's event is quite interesting. It has drawn, some level of admiration and more of criticism from people based on the things that they've talked about. So let's dive into it and look at exactly what they released to us this for this year. So like we've all known there'll be a lot of AI in what they come out to present, but like a huge part of the presentation, Stacy, was just about AI and the AI features that they are putting in all of the products. Some people are looking at it um, like a case of like who asked you for all these AI things, there's AI now in YouTube, there's AI in Google search, there's Google search has had AI mode for a while now that they've been testing out. Fun thing that happened, some people even started typing disregard on the search box, and then because it defaults to the AI mode, the AI assumes that it's a prompt, so it tries to respond to that prompt, and then the typical AI response to when you ask it to disregard a prompt and whatever. And that was an interesting bug to find, but I think they fixed it now, and disregard now shows the dictionary and whatever. But yeah, these are the kind of issues where the AI things are getting chugged into the products that people already use on a daily, like Google search. YouTube also now has AI search, which I think is fine. It makes it more conversational. You can search for stuff without actually knowing what title of the video you're looking for. That's fine. But at what point, Ceci, do you think it's too much, too much AI?
So for me personally, right, I actually like the conversational AI updates like across YouTube. And they have for Google Docs as well, Maps as well. Um, I just think it should be more what's the word? Like people should be able to easily turn that off and it's not interfering with their day to day, or if you want to use the normal mode for a particular app without having the AI all in your face. But personally, I feel like that's good for me because sometimes, your brain is going left, right, center. You just need to brain dump. So that's where like being able to directly interact with the AI as it's coming to your brain, flowing through your mouth, you're just able to tell it what you need. And you might not really have it in a properly formatted way, which most prompts would expect you to already have that standardized, properly formatted and figured out. But with this, like you mentioned, I can search without knowing what exactly I'm looking for. But that now brings into the conversation, I think, in one of our videos that we had, that now people need to optimize for um these type of searches, not just having a title and expecting people to remember those titles and things like that. You have to make sure that it's properly described so that when people are also trying to describe what they're looking for, it matches what you already have, right? So I think generally just don't like the need for consent, like, okay, I want to have it, I don't want to have it, should be pretty clear on the interfaces of this application to traditional users that don't want to use AI or feel like it's too much. I can type out things I want. Just put it to the side. Yeah, that's my thoughts on that.
Yeah, and I think even mostly for Google search, for a long time, people have relied on using Google search to look for like exact links to items. Now that it is more of the AI mode, and I think they are also introducing some more things on that AI mode that makes so if you're on a mobile phone, that AI mode basically takes more space now, and the actual search results that you're looking for are getting pushed, down
Yeah.
further. So SEO optimization or whatever is not going to help you because whatever optimization you've done is basically going to be pushed to the next page eventually. So yeah, this means less visibility for other websites and all of other stuff, and more AI focus now. So whatever you search defaults to this AI mode search. Um, it's it's probably okay because it's probably okay for some use cases. When you just quickly need a quick answer, you're not exactly looking for um, a link or something. You just need a quick answer, and that probably helps. But for many other cases where you actually need to find the actual link, or maybe you're looking for your reference and something like that, this doesn't help. And you basically just now need to start going to the next page, to look for what you want. Yeah, so there's also AI aside for the search and to YouTube. There's also more AI updates to Gemini. Gemini, which is already the actual app that Google built for AI conversations. They've done some more updates. They added some new models that they claim is now more powerful and does more stuff. They also released this agentic version, which is Google Spark, which is like an alternative to the existing OpenClaw, where you have an agent, your personal agent that can do stuff for you. There is one funny part that I saw where there was a video conversation where the person was asking Gemini to basically pull stuff from their email and their Google Drive. That to me was, it looked a bit, risky because it means this AI agent now have direct access to your email and your Google Drive. So, I mean, you're, I don't think information, on these platforms were ever so private before, but now this raises some privacy concerns even more because, yeah, what could go wrong? A simple bad prompt injection could basically leak all your emails and Google Drive files and all of that. So it raises security privacy concerns in that regard. But in the end, I think the goal for the company is more towards like helping you achieve more. This agentic era, if you're going to have a personal agent that is going to help you with you're planning your tasks and planning all of these things and doing things for you in the background, then it needs to have access to some of those things, right? Because it's basically acting on your behalf. Yep. So I think it's for but for people to basically decide which poison they want to drink, which of the two, because you either go private and keep your stuff private and do your stuff by yourself. Honestly, personally, right now I don't see the real use for this agentic stuff. One of the videos did was a talk for a school. Maybe you wanted to go and give a talk, and then you need Gemini to craft a speech for you, and then go check your email to craft out that speech and all of that. I mean, it's I don't see a lot of use case basically for something to go read my email, because the purpose of email is I want to see them. But I know there's a lot of people, maybe even startups, that are even building some products around the ability to go into your email and do a planner for you and all that stuff. So this sort of kills their products for those who are working on stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure there
I
are more
think
stuff, but I'd like to get your take, Stacy.
yeah, so you're right actually. So it's either you're on one side or the other side. So with regards to, oh, I want to keep my things private. I don't know where these people are going to be using my data, particularly with photos and videos, probably embarrassing stuff that you have there. So imagine something going wrong and it's all on the internet, right? I think that's why people are so concerned with how exactly are you interacting with my data on this AI platforms, because then they have access to a lot of things, because currently you can connect most of these AI platforms to a lot of other tools that you use, like Gmail, Google Drive, Google Photos and videos and things like that. So I personally, like, I've not reached that stage where I'm connecting like my email and my videos and pictures yet. But for those who are already doing it, they're probably, comfortable with AI already. And it's like, oh, I need to get this done. This makes my life easier, as opposed to me worrying about, oh, basically being, what's the word? Paranoid or pessimistic as to the worst things that can happen if, my data isn't protected by these AI companies. Um, but yeah, generally, I feel like just having the capability available is good. So those that want to use it, have like it's available for them to use, um, as opposed to not even having that. Or maybe down the line, I can have a use for it, you know, um, maybe with organizing my emails or clearing up space and things like that, or you know, generating something with my pictures and it's already connected, so I don't have to do much and things like that. Basically, just with workflows, because I think that's like a use case for what people need it for, like in their daily life, in their workflows that they want to automate, that is connected to most of these other tools. So they can just use that to get that entire flow hands off. So yeah, that's my take on it. So I think the capability, I don't know, like I think as the years go by, right, there probably be more use cases for it. Because humans are getting, I don't want to say lazy, but a lot more hands off when it comes to having all these AI tools and products.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, there'll always be use cases, and I think some people are early adopters that would want to try it out and all that stuff. But yeah, uh, as the AI move, increases, your data, personal data, is also at having that risk. They also released some, would I say, release or shared some exciting news about some of their upcoming products that are hardware products. So they are bringing back Google Glasses. If you remember, the was one of the projects that they killed previously. Google Glasses, and I think probably they are looking at some of the other companies that have started to make some headway with glasses, like Meta's spray band glasses and other ones. And then yeah, they're also working on something of their own. We'll see how the glasses work, but um, I'm pretty sure it will also be loaded with some AI features and all of that. And maybe for the ones that I saw earlier, there was one that could show you like maps and describe places, which was probably useful for. In some cases, the ones that could describe places was useful for people who have eye problems and couldn't see well or couldn't see at all. So that could describe where they are and all of that, because there's a speaker, like for the Meta Ray Ban one. I think there's a speaker
Yeah.
on the close to the ear. So we'll see the one how Google's glasses look like, but I think it's also targeting that same kind of market or users. And there will be people, of course, who would want it for just the cool features and all of that. But um, technology wearables are now, creeping up to, there's the watch already now. Put on the glass. There's your smartphone. Everything is a computer, and
Yeah.
at some point you have to decide which computer exactly are you using. Are you checking the map on your watch, or checking on your glasses, or checking on your phone? I mean, it's a lot, but would be cool to see. And they
Yeah, I like the
also,
glasses one actually. That seems quite
Mhm.
fancy. Like when I saw it with the Meta Ray-Ban glasses, I was like, "Ooh, this is pretty cool." Because initially I was like, like if I'm walking, the thing just wasn't very appealing initially. But when I saw it in use, I'm like, okay, this doesn't seem like it seems like a nice to have, right? And like you mentioned, we're going to a point where most of your wearables would be like a full computer on its own, being able to, process, do things with AI and things like that. So it's quite interesting to see.
yeah, and they also talked about a laptop that they want to release. I'm not sure yet, but they want to release a laptop. But the laptop isn't going to be like it's an exclusively Google laptop. It will be more like a partnership between Google and other top manufacturers. So Google is not the one actually doing the whole end-to-end production. So maybe they'll be partnering with HP and all the other guys to build, but there will be like a special brand from each of those companies that would be tagged as Google's book or Google's laptop. And yeah, it's interesting because some years back they had to kill their Chromebook that was
Mm.
a disappointment because it was basically like running Android on a wide screen, and of course nobody but that. So that Google Book now would come with a lot of AI features, of course, and also be able to do some of the things that Macs do, like allow like, currently Mac allows you to show your phone on your laptop, so you can control your phone on your laptop. For Android phones, if you have a Google Book, that would also be possible, to control your phone from your laptop as well. But the actual release date and all of that is not clear yet. But yeah, they're working on something like that. And maybe by next year, we would know more about, their Google Book. But right now, it seems like the company is more focused on AI and this agentic AI era. We also have some interesting uh, topics from our local tech market, and some people building some interesting stuff.
So we have something in the news about TalkSign, which is a Nigerian and UK-based AI research and product company, and they announced that they had launched two AI-powered models that enables real-time translation between American Sign Language and text or speech. So basically, this helps the hearing impairment community to communicate with other people. So the two models they have are Palm 1.0, which basically helps to convert or interpret ASL to text or speech. And they mentioned, it has a good semantic accuracy, I think about above 80%, right? And then the other model is Echo 1.0, which basically converts written or spoken language into photorealistic ASL videos. So when I'm talking to you, the Echo 1.0 would um, when I'm talking to someone that uses ASL, the Echo 1.0 would convert whatever I'm saying or whatever I've written into a visual form that communicates with ASL, while the Palm 1.0 does like the reverse, where if they're signing to me, I it basically then interprets that to me in text or speech. I think this would, basically help with any communication barriers that currently exist. And they also mentioned that, it does this in pretty good real time. right? And there's minimal delay. So it's basically like the conversation will be flowing. They mentioned that this is currently like there are some limitations currently. Like you can like it's currently only in English. Like when you speak, it only understands English to convert to ASL, right? But they have other languages that it would be coming in like Spanish, French, and then also you mentioned the contextual part of it also needs some fine tuning because with basically language translation and things like that, you also have to take into consideration context. So they had mentioned like things like that required like domain specific words and things like that, or context like in engineering or medicine, that still needs some fine tuning as well. They also mentioned that because currently sign language has like there are different types of sign languages. There's American Sign Language, there's British Sign Language. So they also want to incorporate that into their models as well. One thing that's interesting for me with this is that during my undergraduate days, one of the projects that I wanted to do was around sign language interpretation and just seeing how far it has come now with obviously the improvements with AI. It's really nice to see. And also with uh, the way basically um, disabilities in Nigeria, like there's not a lot of like there's so much gap that can be closed, and I think this is something that can close it. And the fact that it's also a Nigerian based company is like it's really good to see. Aside the talk sign, we also have um, Paystack basically updating their dashboard after a couple years and seeing just basically incorporating AI into it. So in your Paystack dashboard, you have your transactions. You can, query natural language, things that you want to see, or just see how basically your business is doing and things like that. So these are some updates, within the local space here in Nigeria.
And I think the TalkSign one is really interesting. The fact that you don't need to completely understand sign language to communicate to someone who is doing that. So it's really good. In Nigeria, there's not a lot of support for people with one impairment or the other to be able to effectively integrate into society. For someone who does sign language, they probably need to get someone along with them when going to the market or something, just to be able to
That's
communicate across with other people. So yeah, that's pretty good. And being able to do this with different languages, different sign language types, would also be really great to see. An important thing about some of these companies would also be that they are building their in the long term they're looking at building their own models and all of that that would not maybe not build but train their own in-house models that would
mm,
serve them in the long term, because sometimes when they rely on some of these established frontier models to do the heavy lifting for them, and those companies release one feature that breaks their stuff, then they have to pivot, and all of that. So um, it's exciting to see that people are taking some of these challenges and actually fixing them with AI. That's it for this week. This is as much as we can take for this week, and we hope you enjoyed our talk. Do leave a like, subscribe, and share your comment about some of the things we've talked about. You've talked about, do you agree? Do you disagree? What are your takes? And what are the things that you would like to see us cover for our subsequent episodes? Would appreciate also sharing this along with with your friends to support the channel. And we'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye.